I'll begin by welcoming the positive steps the Department has set out in the Pathways to Work Green Paper on supporting people into work, the right to try work without the fear of having to go through reassessment for benefits if it does not work out, reforming and modernising the access to work system, disability pay gap reporting, disability employment gap reporting, and ensuring everyone has access to a supportive work coach. And on the assessment process, ensuring that assessments are recorded as standards, something that I know people are desperately crying out for. And ensuring that people with long-term, lifelong conditions do not need to be reassessed when we know their condition is unlikely to ever improve. I also welcome many of the concessions the government has made over the last week, bringing forward employment support, protections for current PIP claimants going forward, and the need for co-production moving forward. However, I continue to have some concerns which I believe must be addressed. We need the TIMS review to report before the new system is rolled out. And on co-production, I want to start by saying this should have happened way before we got to today's debate. And I know from my time as Shadow Minister for Disabled People that when you work with disabled people and their organisations from the start, you produce better policy. There is so much talent out there. And like many of us in the chamber, disabled people and their organisations want reform of the benefit system. But the reforms set out in this bill are not what they want or need. We should have been working with them on this right from the start.
I thank the Honourable Lady for her remarks. I wondered if she would agree with me that as well as meaningful engagement with disabled people themselves and disabled groups, it's really important that the TIMS review also engages with unpaid family carers, both because they are caring for people with disability but also are implicated through carers allowance being linked to PIP.
I thank my honourable friend for her intervention, and I absolutely agree. It needs to ensure that it has the right engagement and consultation with everybody, but it must be co-produced with the experts by experience. I also want to take this opportunity to clarify exactly what we mean by co-production. The principle of co-production is rooted in the US civil rights movement and the ladder of citizen participation developed by Sherry Arnstein in 1969. And it should be in place from the start of the process. And all the information should be made available to everyone. And a plan should be agreed together. And there must be the ability to bring in experts. And these experts should be paid for because of their contribution and treated as valued partners. We should be empowering and upskilling those involved. And I hope that it goes without saying, but all information should be available in accessible formats. And the valued partners need to be user-led disabled people's organisations. And I'll finish by underlining that the focus of making these changes should not be on making cuts, but on getting it right. And getting it right means everything needs to be in the scope of the review, not just the ability to tinker within limited, predetermined parameters. And co-production must take place before any changes to the current assessment criteria are proposed. If it means pausing to ensure we get it right, then that is what we must do.